As government puts out measures for the 2023 close fishing season, it is important for the various fishing associations to plan in seeking the welfare of members. And on the phone line is the National President, Canoe and Fishing Gear Owners Association of Ghana, Nana KWEIGYAH. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Now, I know some people in the fishing community have varied concerns with regard to the closed fishing season. But as it stands now, the concept has come to stay, and this year the sea will be closed from July 1 for canoe fishers. My question is, firstly, how many fishers and canoe owners are in your association, and what plans are underway to give them an alternative livelihood during the month break for the fishermen and canoe owners?
Yeah, thank you very much once again, and good afternoon to your viewers. On the close season, we all know it is one of the measures that the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development and the Fisheries Commission have considered as part of effort to halt the decline of fisheries and to reverse the decline as well as rebuild the fish stock. We as an association have it as a responsibility to contribute to successful implementation of such management measures to enable the resource to rebuild, which serves as our livelihoods as well. On the issue of livelihoods, it is important for us to acknowledge the fact that stakeholders have not done enough to resource fishers to be able to attend to some other activities within the period of the closure and attempt to introduce other livelihood options for fishers has also not been easy for stakeholders. So as we move on, we will continue to engage and discuss some of these things towards having some activities, livelihood activities for fishers, so that shifting from fishing to those activities within the closure period will not be that difficult for the fish. We, as an association, we have a little over 2,000 members to take care of. And in our case, as canoe and gear owners, it is not about the canoe and gear owners themselves, but also about the crew. If you take the bigger canoes, you have an average of about 15 crew members. So if we are talking about a little over 2,000 members, then multiply that by 15 on the average to know the number of people that we are concerned about. It is quite a difficult thing for us to handle, especially looking at the declining issues and the fact that it has not been that profitable enough over the years for us to be able to do that. But then, since we acknowledge that some effort has to be taken to rebuild the fisheries, we, for instance, are first and foremost engaging our members to comply with the declaration. That is what is most important for us. Our members, and for that matter, fishers, must comply with the declaration. And it is one of the things that we are doing as our contribution to the implementation of the close season. Again, we are asking the canoe owners to provide some support for the upkeep of the crew within the period of the closure. And in fact, it is something that many canoe owners have been doing over the years. And this year too, we are asking the canoe owners to provide some support, because what the ministry provides is woefully inadequate. If you give a crew a bag of rice or 3-4 people this 5 kilo rice, it is not going to sustain them. So the canoe owners have additional responsibility to provide some support to the crew, and it is something we are engaging our members to undertake. We are also engaging our members and continually educating them as part of effort to get fishers to appreciate the need for the closure. Now, when fishers appreciate the need for the closure, then fishers can own the process. Fishers can put measures in place themselves fishers will not be too dependent on the ministry and the government for close-season support or that kind of support that is demanded from government. More also, we are engaging our members to manage their expectation on the close season, because poor management of fishers' expectation remains the greatest threat to the implementation of the close season going into the future. So we are engaging our members to manage their expectations.
Okay, now, thank you very much. Now, government, in announcing the 2023 closed fishing season, hinted that it will be providing alternative livelihood training for 8,000 fishers aged from 18 to 35 years. What quota did your association receive, and have the beneficiaries been selected already?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me clarify this, and you can also make your checks to come back on this. That 8,000 people which were mentioned is a number that runs from now to 26. In fact, it is Feed the Future Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity Program. So year by year, they will be training some youth from fishing communities, and their target is that by 2026, they would have trained 8,000 people. Again, it is important for stakeholders and the general public to understand that this intervention is not a close-season intervention, because within that 1 month that fishers are staying at home, what kind of training are you giving to them? And when are they going to engage in that activity to be able to provide for themselves within the 1 month period? So this is not a closed-season intervention. Generally, it is an intervention aimed at reducing the pressure, the excessive pressure. Because if we have more people engaged in fishing activity, then it becomes difficult to contain them, especially as the resource is declining. So effort is being put up to take some people out of the sector, so that the remaining fishers can depend on the resource. So this livelihood training is not a closed-season intervention. Notwithstanding, we have been given the opportunity to identify young people in the fishing communities or youth of fisher families who are interested in learning a trade to pick a form, fill, submit to the Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity Office or their partners. Screening will be done, and then those people choose their apprentice masters or apprenticeship masters, and the arrangement will be done for them to learn a trade. And it is a good intervention that has a long-term benefit for fishing communities and our fisheries in general.
But what quota did your association receive? Have you received anything yet?
Well, we have not been given a quota, but then we have been informed to get as many young people who are interested in learning a trade to fill the form and submit same for the office to continue the process from there.
Is there okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and that is our part, to identify people within the fishing communities who are members of fisher families or who depend on parents who are fishers, or being fishermen or fish processors, fish traders, or fisheries dependent families or households. And then we endeavor to facilitate the filling of the form, and it is sent to GFRA, who will take care of the remaining process, doing the arrangements, meeting them, screening them, and then getting the masters or arranging with their masters to give them the needed training.
Okay. The closed season fishing, the closed fishing is barely 2 months away. Do you have adequate premix fuel and other items you need from government to catch and store more fish before the sea is closed?
Our problem with premix fuel is not yet over. And the worst of it is that now the price has also increased. Initially from the 7 cedis 30 pesos to 10 cedis 60 pesos thereabouts, and now to 25 23, 24, depending on, because the recent communication has it that the gallon is to go for 22.70 something pesos. So the price has also increased and the product is not available. And increasing bad weather days in recent times have all impeded fishing expedition. And the general economic situation in the country really makes it difficult for artisanal fishers going into this year's cruise season.
Okay, finally, before you go, this year is the 7th edition since the initial implementation in 2015. What is your general assessment of the policy?
Is it the apprenticeship program?
No, the closed fishing season.
It is rather unfortunate that...
the training program, the livelihood.
The training program. Yes, as I said earlier on, it is a very good intervention that will have a long-term benefit for fisher families and fishing communities, as well as, in fact, the whole country as a whole, because in our current state of declining fisheries, some livelihood, supplementary, complementary livelihood options must be available for fishers. And it will not take 1 month to get the fishers to move from fishing to other activities. So young people who would have all been found in the fishing business or industry or sector in the near future will have these trade as an option. So it is likely that many of them will not even come into fisheries, but they will be engaged in some of these training activities that they have been introduced to. So in the long term, it really has a lot of benefits for us. What we have to do is to encourage more young people to seize the opportunities to have an alternative livelihood activity. And for those who do not have any job at all, it is an opportunity for them to also find something doing. And we commend the GFRA for this intervention.
Briefly, can you tell me your general assessment of the closed fishing season?
Well, it is also unfortunate that decisions regarding the closed season has not been inclusive enough. As we speak to you, we have not had access to the closed season reports. So if we do not have access to the reports, then we are not able to speak from what the researchers are saying. But on our own, we do not think there has been much improvement in our catch as a result of the closed season. And it is also the point I made earlier on that we have not managed the expectation of the fishers well. Because there's this impression that has been created that you close the sea for a month and there will be fish, which is not possible. The closed season will yield benefits over a longer period of time. So we need to manage expectation of the fishers. Again, how did we come to this state that we are implementing closed season? It is because of destructive fishing activities and other illegal activities that have contributed to the declining fisheries. The question now is, what have we done about these practices that have brought us to this current state? Every year, when you are about implementing the closed season, you will hear the minister making pronouncements of no IEU. But the closed season period expires and IEU returns in full force. So all the gains that would have been made are eroded within few months of resumption of fishing. So these are some of the areas that we need to discuss and have more inclusive discussions and decisions regarding the implementation of the closed season so that its benefits can be realized going forward.
Thank you very much. So you heard the National President, Canoe and Fishing Gear Owners Association of Ghana, Nana KWEIGYAH, bringing us up to speed on the 2023 closed fishing season and the alternative livelihood program, which is being implemented by government.